Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
Breaking news out of Austin, Texas. A suspected serial package bomber may have been shot and killed by police. We'll have the latest.
I'm live on Main Street where some of these businesses could see a 50% drop in revenue. We're telling you why straight ahead.
And school leaders in both Sarasota and Manatee counties are celebrating this morning. We've got your traffic, your first alert weather, and breaking news. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
Well, certainly a sigh of relief right now in Austin, Texas. We'll have more on that story in just a few seconds about that potential end to that tragedy in Texas of the package bombing. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Ray Collins.
That is right. And the other big story that's been in the news this week, some severe weather that rolled through yesterday. So we want to catch up with John Scalzi and see what was on deck for today.
Yeah, well, luckily it's a much different day today. For the state of Florida anyway, we're looking at some pretty quiet conditions. Temperatures are generally a little cooler, though, by 5 to 10 degrees than they were 24 hours ago at this time, but we don't have the looming threat of severe weather. 66 degrees in Sarasota, 62 in Bradenton, 67 in Venice, Inglewood, 61 degrees in Arcadia, Wauchula, Mayaca. Northport coming in at 63, so slightly cooler in inland areas. No rain in the forecast for today, but boy, do we have that nor'easter developing, and latest computer models suggesting even higher snowfall totals possible for the Northeast. A dozen states right now are under some sort of a winter weather advisory or warning. We're looking at all the Sarasota airport hubs that serve our area, and none of them at this hour are reporting any delays. Even the ones that are in the Northeast. I mean, LaGuardia is coming in with a 0-minute delay, but they're having light snow now. That will be changing to heavier snow a bit later on. And you know, any of those northeastern corridor airports are going to have delays as we head into the later half of today and into tomorrow particularly. Look for a daytime high today that tops out on the cool side, 68 degrees. Despite the fact that we have plenty of sunshine around, we're not going to warm all that much. Complete forecast for you in a sec.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads right now. First off, in Manatee County, some early buildup there on State Road 70, especially in the eastbound lanes between 41 and 75. Let's go farther south now to the northern half of Sarasota County. Some buildup 41 southbound as you head toward the Ringling Bridge. Also 301 northbound through Newtown. A little blip there on Fruitville as well. And to our final map to the south, nothing much to report there so far at 6:02. Here's a live picture, though, of Marina Drive in Holmes Beach. Awfully quiet there. You can see the wind blowing strong and the flag there in the background. There's a big story there yesterday. There's talk about a new ferry service between St. Petersburg and Holmes Beach. Also yesterday, severe storms rolled through that area, and the storm water has since receded in that section of northwest Manatee County. First now, breaking news from Austin, Texas.
Police are now confirming that the man accused of sending and detonating explosives in the Austin area is dead after detonating one final device, killing himself. Now you're looking live now. This is the scene in Austin where the Austin Police Department is holding a press conference right now. Police said they have tracked down the suspect in a hotel in the area. A chase then followed. Police are saying that when the suspect then detonated a device inside his car, that killed himself and it also injured another officer. The suspect is believed to be involved in that series of bombings that started earlier this month, March 2nd, and went through all the way through yesterday. Now, 2 people died, 5 others were injured in those incidents. Police have not yet released the suspect's name. Now we're monitoring the situation, staying in tune with this press conference. We're going to bring you all the developments as they unfold throughout the hour. Happening right now, a spring storm is slamming the northeast. The storm is expected to bring strong winds and possibly more than a foot of snow in some areas. Heavy snow, sleet already begun to fall, and that nor'easter will move towards Cape Cod early tomorrow morning. Well, it is a wrap. In just a few weeks, the snowbirds are expected to head back north.
And start shoveling when they get there.
That is right. To bring the shovels.
So how will the snowbirds returning north impact local businesses again? Marla Spence has a story from downtown Sarasota. Marla, good morning.
Yeah, guys, each year thousands of snowbirds make their way to the Suncoast to soak in the sun as well as to enjoy all of what Sarasota has to offer. But just in a few weeks, they'll be heading on back home until next season. Now, we spoke to one business owner who owns 2 French restaurants in the Rosemary District and also right here on Main Street. Those restaurants, C'est La Vie and also Lolita Tartine, the restaurant owner. Christophe Coutiel tells us although it becomes really slow in the summer months, he says Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week actually helps his restaurant to generate more revenue during those slow months. He tells us each year he sees a dramatic drop in sales when the snowbirds leave.
C'est la vie, we drop like probably, like 30-40% of our sales during the summer, definitively. And Lolita, like I said, it's easy 50% that we lose on the sales.
Although snowbirds are expected to head on back home, they could be staying here on the Suncoast for a little while longer as that nor'easter makes its way up north. And so that means that those snowbirds will be right here to help generate more revenue for restaurants as well as businesses right here on the Suncoast. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Marla, thank you. School leaders in both Sarasota and Manatee counties are celebrating after voters in both counties decided to invest in the students. Voters approved a $1 property tax in both counties. The referendum passed quite a bit in Sarasota County, 78 to 21%. Well, in Manatee County, it barely passed, 51 to 48. What this means now is property owners will owe about $220 extra a year in taxes for the average homeowner. Voters also made decisions about Longboat Key Town Commissioners in that election. For the at-large seat, Erwin Pastor beat Jack Wilson. Ken Shiner beat John Weber, and Randall Langley beat Ed Zunz.
Well, new developments at the South Florida High School where 17 students were killed during that mass shooting last month. Governor Rick Scott is now offering Florida Highway Patrol troopers to help secure Stoneman Douglas High School. The extra security comes after several students were arrested and the school's resource officer was suspended for allegedly falling asleep on the job. Now, one student is accused of pulling a knife out during a fight, another allegedly displayed a knife on a bus, and a third made a threat on social media. And the brother of the Parkland school shooting suspect, Nicholas Cruz, is now sitting in the same jail. A judge imposed a $500,000 bond for Zachary Cruz for trespassing at the high school on Monday. Now, trespassing usually involves only a $25 bond. But the judge agreed with prosecutors that Zachary Cruz had been warned not to visit the school. He'd done so 3 times since the shooting, and that the enormity of that massacre warranted a much higher bond.
A little farther south, now new developments in the deadly bridge collapse in Miami last week. New documents show that there was a key design change that put the construction of the bridge behind schedule. The schedule and design change also put the bridge millions of dollars over budget. It's still unclear if the design change contributed to the collapse that killed 6 people last week. A second lawsuit has been filed in that bridge collapse by a Florida International University student who was driving when the bridge fell and crushed the back of her car. Another survivor filed a lawsuit against the companies involved in designing the bridge. The families of the 2 men who were killed say they plan to file wrongful death lawsuits later this week.
Well, this morning, the FIU Student Government Association is hosting a vigil at 10 o'clock to honor those victims who were killed in that collapse. A memorial will be set up afterwards for those who wish to leave flowers and other items in that area as well.
All right, 6:08 right now, still ahead, first alert traffic and
Sweet news for you pancake lovers. We've got more on this when we come back.
Let's take a live look right now at the press conference ongoing in Austin, Texas right now. Police and the FBI at the microphone talking about reports that the suspect in the package bombings in Texas has been shot and killed. Details of that and more news on the way, but first, the local weather scene from John Scalzi.
So we're looking at wind speeds that are brisk this morning, and the forecast for the day calls for these winds to stay high, coming in at about 20 miles an hour or so. Out of the northwest, onshore winds means high risk of rip currents across our region, as well as a small craft advisory. Plus, it's the reason I've checked the wind box on our drive time forecast. As you head out the road, if you have a high profile vehicle, it's 2 hands on the wheel, especially over the Skyway. Low 60s for your commute out. For your commute back, mid 60s. We don't warm much. We'll have the complete forecast for you in just a sec.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you too.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Now, your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Looking at a 66-degree air temperature. Dew point value is low, though, coming in at 55. So some very dry air in place across the region. And if you are one of those folks who are going to be heating your home over the next several days, that dew point value will be low enough that it will probably make your home feel a little on the dry side as the relative humidities fall with heated air. Right now, the relative humidity is at 68%. You dry it out, though, and I bet you have a relative humidity that drops down into the 50s or 40s. Northwest wind coming in at about 15. Will be breezy throughout the day today. Rip current advisories in effect. Small craft advisories in effect. And that dry air is also creating a fire hazard across much of the state of Florida. For our area, it's mostly for interior sections of Charlotte County. 61 degrees, Wauchula, Mayaca, the same. Lakewood Ranch, 63. Bradenton, 62. Sarasota, 66. 67s in Venice and Inglewood and in Longboat Key as well. For today, we'll get up to about 63 degrees, or get down to about 63 degrees, I should say, by 9 a.m. as we have several more hours of some cooling to do before we start to warm. And we won't warm much, despite the fact that we'll have plentiful amounts of sunshine throughout the day. We stay cool because of that cold air draining down from the north. So 65 degrees by 12 noon, 68 degrees by 3 p.m., and that's just about where Sarasota is now, even though surrounding areas are much cooler. So we're just not going to warm a whole lot today, and tomorrow will probably even be a little bit cooler. We'll look at the hour-by-hour forecast and show you those winds remain out of the northwest throughout the morning hours into the afternoon. By the drive time home tonight, we stay sunny but still cool with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. And then overnight, we're going to watch those temperatures continue to fall into the 60s, eventually into the 50s. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, we may even have a few 40s on the boards for interior sections bright and early tomorrow morning. Plenty of sunshine coming your way, though, over the next 5 days. Not much in the way of any kind of rainfall. Rainfall is at a minimum right now, so it's good we got that rain yesterday. And we did get some places that had almost 3 inches of rainfall, so some significant amounts, even some places that had more than that. So hopefully that will have some impact on the abnormally dry conditions that we have had across the region in terms of our drought conditions and our fire hazards. But with the dry air in place, it probably won't have much of an impact. Circulating area of low pressure moves toward the coastline. This is our nor'easter. It will develop into a significant storm, dropping lots of snowfall along the northeast. Most all the states along the northeastern corridor back into the Ohio Valley have some sort of weather watch up for snow. We have a north wind for us, our weather driven by that high pressure ridge back behind that low pressure system. That means dry air continues to filter down, cooler air continues to filter down, and we're left with a string of some pretty nice days, just a little on the cool side. Sunny, rain-free, and cooler for several days. There's the nor'easter heading off to the north and to the east with snowfall accumulations that are really pretty significant. Certainly could be airport delays in this section as we head into the afternoon and tomorrow. Northwest rather, coming in at about 20 knots, small craft advisory up. And your forecast for today looks pretty good, I'd say. 68 for a daytime high, lots of sunshine. 51 the overnight low tomorrow, slightly cooler but less breezy, so it might actually feel a little more comfortable even though it's a little cooler. 45 the overnight low on Thursday into Friday, so that's a cool night. But then over the weekend, we start to warm back up into the upper 70s. Next week, we're into the 80s. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look outside your first alert traffic out there this morning. Starting to see some slowdowns right there on State Road 70 and 301. That's in Manatee County. Heading a little farther south into Sarasota County. We'll see that in just a second. Those roads are looking pretty decent out there. On Fruitville and 301, there is some slowdown right in that area as well. But other than that, not too much to see in Sarasota County. A little farther south, those roads are still pretty decent this morning. Pretty clear out there. And even farther south, if you're headed toward Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area, those roads are looking pretty clear this morning at 617 with your first alert traffic.
Amazon is now the second most valuable company in this country. The online retailer took the spot from Alphabet, the owner of Google. Amazon's value now stands at $765 billion. Its CEO, Jeff Bezos, is worth $130 billion. That's all. But Amazon has a way to go before it takes over the top spot. That is Apple. They're worth $900 billion.
Dear Jeff Bezos, I am up for adoption. Right. On a sweeter note, March is also the beginning of maple syrup season for all you pancake lovers out there. Maple syrup is now running and ready. Every spring, maple producers all across New England, they collect sap from sugar maple trees. They then boil it down into syrup. Now that season usually runs from early March until late April. Now last year, more than 4 million gallons, mostly how much my family eats, of maple syrup was produced right here in the country.
Yeah, I pour on that syrup on pancakes.
So good.
Love
good
it.
Stuff. That is a happy place.
618 still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
And it is Credit Education Month. We've got 3 ways that your credit score affects more than you realize. Plus, Marla?
I'm live on Main Street, where some businesses could see a 50% drop in sales as snowbirds plan to head on back home. I have a live report straight ahead.
But first, here is a live shot from our tower camera. Windy out there, 66 degrees right now. We'll have John's forecast and more news coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Welcome back. Well, March is Credit Education Month, and when it comes to our credit score, most of us know the basics. A good score can get you a great deal on that new car, a lower interest rate on your mortgage, or even help you negotiate a lower apartment rent. But 3 things you may not realize that your credit score can affect.
You know, one big one are job opportunities. Say you're getting a job at a federal agency or at a bank, somewhere that requires you to handle money or finances. They're going to pull your credit report. And if you have poor credit, that shows you as a financial risk, and they may not offer you the position. Another one is your car insurance. Sure, your driving record has most of what to do with your car insurance, but they also pull your credit report. If you show poor payment history, they may see you as a risk and put your rates a little bit higher. And the final one are utility bills. You go to get a water bill or an electric bill, they may pull your credit. If they see previous bills showing in collections, they may jack up that deposit you have to put down on those.
Now, it's also important to talk to your kids about the use of credit, especially those college-age students. I know I have one in my house. We've had this conversation. They need to understand why it's important to maintain good credit, start off with good credit, and keep it good as they enter that real world, which we know is a very scary place sometimes.
Yeah, so they can check your credit report if you apply for certain jobs.
Absolutely. Yes, I've actually had jobs where they've done that. Tourism bureaus do that, banks do that, financial places. If you want to do government jobs, a lot of those will now start checking your credit score. So it affects a lot more than you realize. Well, a school resource officer is credited with stopping the 17-year-old gunman who wounded 2 students at a Maryland high school school yesterday morning.
ABC's Candace Gibson has the story.
This morning's GMA First Look. Police on the scene seconds after a shootout in the halls of the Southern Maryland school.
Front entrance of the high school, please. Front entrance of the high school.
Shots fired just before the start of 8 a.m. classes. 1,400 students inside, many hiding under their desks when officers move in.
Anybody need medical treatment? No.
Investigators say the gunman, a 17-year-old, walked into Glen Mills High School with a Glock semi-automatic handgun and shot 2 students. And it could have been a lot worse, officials say, if not for school resource officer Blaine Gaskell. The sheriff saying he responded in less than a minute.
He pursued the shooter, engaged the shooter, during which that engagement he fired a round at the shooter.
Simultaneously, the shooter fired a round as well.
And coming up at 7 o'clock, we'll learn more about the young victims with your GMA First Look. I'm Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
When the world is watching and you need your logo to be perfect, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time. On time, on the right items, at a great price. We are 4imprint, and that is our promise. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. Our wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless. Certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Bob Vitello and I'm here with resident chef Jim Hendry from our Publix Aprons Cooking School. What do you got going on today, Jim?
Well, Bob, I'm going to do some slow cooker pork and Spanish rice.
Nothing better than a crock pot.
This is the easiest thing you'll ever make. We're going to use a little slow cooker crock pot that you can get at your friendly neighborhood Publix.
Right here.
And what we're going to do is I've got some pork blade steaks. These are from the shoulder.
Cool.
And we're going to throw them right into our slow cooker. A little bit of rustic tomato sauce of your choice.
I love rustic tomato sauce.
A little bit of water. And then we're going to put that on high for about 90 minutes.
And that's all you put in there for now? It's just the water, the sauce, and the pork?
The sauce, and the water.
Right.
Set it and forget it, right? Then we're going to come back after that's been going for 90 minutes, and we're going to add a little bit.
We'll be back in 90 minutes.
We're going to add a little bit of yellow rice, okay?
Oh,
Spanish rice blend.
I got you.
Halfway through the cooking, basically. And we're going to add some Spanish olives to that as well.
This looks good.
And we're going to cook that for another 30 minutes with the rice. And that's as easy as that.
So you just let that go and you don't have to worry about it? What do we top that with?
No, just set it on. Then after it's done, we're going to plate it up with the rice, and we're going to top that with a little queso fresco. You ever had any of this?
I love
great
queso fresco.
Fresh Mexican farmer's cheese. We just sprinkle a little on top, and it's just a nice, quick, easy pork dish that you can make in a matter of hours at home without any effort.
You could do that on stovetop too if you wanted to.
Sure,
right?
You could do it on a stove. You could actually throw it in the oven if you wanted to.
Either way. You know, this way is the best way because you have to get the crock pot.
I like crock pots.
Pressure cooker will work too.
Yeah, and you can put it on low and set it in the morning and then come back at night when you get home.
Thanks, Jim. Starting tomorrow, be sure to stop by your Publix Apron Simple Meals kiosk, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients after sampling this delicious dish. Thanks, bud.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Why do that?
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if your loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
ABC 7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
But you know what? We got the whole day planned. We got breakfast already planned for the kids and a lot of indoor activities, and we're ready for it. I mean, hopefully this is the last one, but who knows?
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
The 4th Northeaster is taking aim at New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. We'll have the latest. Marla?
I'm live on Main Street, where some businesses could see a 50% drop in sales as snowbirds head on back home. I have a live report straight ahead. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You are watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
Well, certainly a busy morning right now. There's a live picture of the Rosemary District. We're tracking some breaking news this morning involving the situation in Austin, Texas, where it appears that the suspect in that package bombing has been killed. Details on that on the way this morning. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for joining us this morning. We are on top of this situation. They had a press conference early. We've got all the latest details for you come up here in just a few. But first, we want to check in with First Alert meteorologist John Scalzi. Yesterday was the big weather story. How's it looking out there today?
Still a few advisories out, mostly due to wind and dry air across the region. We do have a rip current advisory. We do have a small craft advisory, and there is currently a small craft advisory through tomorrow, Wednesday, but also a fire weather warning in the areas outlined here in red, which doesn't include a lot of our area thanks to that onshore flow. But half of Charlotte County is under that advisory, and certainly all of our surrounding counties are seeing that red flag up today for high fire danger. So just be careful with flame, especially if you're traveling across the state or whatever. We're looking at a few passing clouds, but on balance, lots of sunshine today and not much in the way of rainfall. Cooler temperatures, though. Most inland temperatures are now hovering around the 60 mark. You get closer to the coastline, though, and that effect of the warmer Gulf waters kind of helping to keep our temperatures just a little bit warmer right along the coast. 66 Sarasota, 61 Bradenton, 67 Venice, Inglewood, Longboat Key at 66. Forecast for today bumps our temperature way up to 68 degrees. So we don't warm a whole lot today, but we do stay sunny and dry. Actually, I think if you can stay out of the wind or the wind doesn't bother you that much, then you're going to think today is a pretty nice day. Back to you.
Very good. Talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads right now. Some early buildup there in the usual spots on 70 and also on 301. Let's check farther south now on the maps. We'll find out that there is some buildup there at the, let's see, where is that? That's actually near the airport where University comes into 301. That's in the eastbound lane. Be aware of that in case you're heading toward the airport. Bee Ridge Road in the eastbound lane. South County, couple small delays in both directions on 41. Let's take a live look right now at Marina Drive in Holmes Beach for two reasons. First off, there's talk about a ferry service between St. Petersburg and Holmes Beach. More on that story in a few minutes. Also, yesterday afternoon, when these severe storms rolled through, part of that road was flooded. But as you can see, the water has fortunately since receded.
Well, happening right now, yet another storm is hitting the Northeast with strong winds, and a foot or more of snow is expected in some parts of the region. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is tracking the latest nor'easter.
We are watching two seasons collide.
A large storm system packed with snow and wind is expected to hit the Northeast today. It's the fourth major storm in just 3 weeks. And oh, by the way, it's officially spring.
We do still have snow blowers, plenty of salt. Believe we still have some pet-friendly salt as well. We've got plenty of snow shovels.
Overnight, light snow mixed with sleet and freezing rain falling in Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. Heavier snow moving up north to Pennsylvania. Widespread power outages are expected with wind gusts blowing up to 35 miles per hour.
The rain freeze line could change. The 50-mile difference could mean the difference between 13 inches of snow or 2 inches of slush.
New Jersey's governor declaring a state of emergency across the state.
Recommended residents stay home at this time.
Some schools on the East Coast, like in Philly, D.C., and New York City, closing ahead of the storm.
But you know what? We got the whole day planned. We got breakfast already planned for the kids and a lot of indoor activities, and we're ready for it. I mean, hopefully this is the last one, but who knows?
But how about school on Saturday to make up for all those snow days? It might actually happen for some school districts in Massachusetts.
Between 16 strands of the flu and 4 nor'easters, this has been the longest winter of anybody's life.
Here in D.C., some roads are slick. The wet snow has stopped for now, but it's expected to be on and off throughout the day. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Oh, so many lucky snowbirds are going to be heading back into those storms. Huh. Well, it is no secret that they are also big business here on the Sun Coast. It's estimated Sarasota County's population grows by about 80,000 people.
Yes.
That we are pretty sure we see on the roads during the whole busy season.
Every day. So when they head back north into that snow, it leaves a void for local businesses. More on that story now from Marla Spence, live on Main Street in downtown Sarasota. Marla?
Yeah, businesses up and down Main Street and all across Sarasota are preparing for snowbirds to head on back home until next season. We spoke to the owner of 2 restaurants in the downtown Sarasota area. Now, both of those restaurants, C'est La Vie and Lolita Tartine, are very popular and well known and could be very busy daily. The owner tells us that this year he's been preparing to make more money after snowbirds leave by adding services like delivery. He tells us each year for almost 20 years, snowbirds bring in the bulk of his revenue, and as they leave, they could be impacting his business.
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge drop, you know, and it's become a little bit quiet during the summertime.
Now, that restaurant owner tells us that his restaurant, C'est La Vie, could see a 30 to 40% drop in sales, and his other restaurant, Lolita Tartine, could see a 50% drop in sales. Now, although snowbirds are expected to head on back home in the coming weeks, they could possibly be staying right here on the Sun Coast as the nor'easter makes its way up north, and that means that those snowbirds will continue to pour in more money into the Sun Coast. I'm Marla Spence reporting live in Sarasota for ABC 7, your Sun Coast News.
Thank you, Marla. Close vote in Manatee County and a landslide in Sarasota County. School referendums for both counties did pass yesterday. In Sarasota County, the referendum passed 78% to 21%, while in Manatee County, very narrow, 51 to 48%. Now we have reaction from both counties' school superintendents right here.
I want this community to know how much we appreciate what they've done for us, and the best way to show them that we appreciate them is by being the very best school district that we can possibly be.
Today is a day of excitement, a day of gratitude. This community has once again shown that they value public education, and that's a great feeling as a superintendent.
This is the first education tax in Manatee County where Sarasota voters have approved this several times before. So the average homeowner will now pay an extra about $220 a year toward education.
Voters also made their call about Longboat Keytown commissioners and that election yesterday for that at-large seat. Irwin Pastor beat Jack Wilson in District 3. This is not the video that we're referencing right here. This is actually 2 Manatee County School Board members that were involved in a dispute last month. In that case, the Bradenton police decided not to press charges. We're going to get to that in a moment. Right now, in District 3, Ken Schneier beat John Weber, and in District 5, Randall Langley beat Ed Zunes. Now, back to that story, new developments on a dispute between those 2 Manatee County School Board members that it was caught on camera. As we said, Bradenton police have completed their investigation and they found no probable cause to file any charges in the case. School Board Chair Scott Hope had filed an incident report against board member Dave Miner, citing aggravated assault after the 2 argued in the parking lot of the school district headquarters last month, something that was caught right here on camera. as you're watching. According to Minor, he didn't see Scott as he was backing out, and despite allegations, he never tried to hit Scott with his car, he says. Well, Sarasota County Fire Rescue is investigating a fire at a barn. It's off of Palmer Boulevard and Tom Morris Drive. It was caused allegedly by a meat smoker that was used inside the homeowner's woodshed. It was full of firewood at the time, according to the Sarasota County Fire Chief. When they arrived at the scene last night, the fire was in full force. Thankfully, though, nobody was home at the time, and that fire was put out in less than 10 minutes.
The owners of a 90-year-old Pinellas County-based ferry service want to start regular service to Anna Maria Island. Corey Hubbard and her family have run the Tampa Bay Ferry since 1928. They say the service would hold up to 49 passengers, would run Wednesday and Saturday mornings. The ferry would arrive at the new Waterline Marina Resort.
This is a perfect opportunity. We come right into this inlet, we dock our boat here, pick up and drop off twice a day. We would be more than privileged to access it here. The construction of this hotel is incredible, and we'd be thrilled for the opportunity.
Holmes Beach will discuss this possibility in June. All right, look at this picture of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. One of our viewers, Vicki Sullivan, took this picture that shows a huge cruise ship going just under the bridge. Some say as close as 5 feet. If you want to see more about this picture, it's on my particular Facebook page. We've got some.
Unreal.
I know it. It almost looks like it's been computer generated.
Yeah, like photoshopped in there. But you've seen them. Like I've driven over the Skyway. I've seen them either in the bay or heading out towards the Gulf. And I'm like, there's no way that fit under the bridge, but
yes,
according to that picture, it does.
Very close call there. That picture is also on my Facebook page, so go to that right now. You can like the page and also read more about it and add your comment as well. And we're on Instagram as well. 6:40 right now on your Wednesday morning.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest in your first alert weather and traffic, and
another school shooting, this time in Maryland. We'll have details of that story when we come back. But first, breaking news this morning from Austin, Texas, where we're told the suspect in that serial package bombings has been killed. Details of that story and more news on the way on Good Morning Suncoast.
We're looking at rainfall totals yesterday, which were pretty impressive in some locations. Up to 3-inch rainfalls came. Many places saw less than that. It'll be all good, though, because it's going to help out, hopefully, our drought situation in some parts of the state of Florida that did get some heavy rainfall. The drought is now into the moderate category. For our area, we're still abnormally dry, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. These numbers will be updated today, I think, and hopefully this value will go down a little bit as we enter into our fire season. For today, no rain in the forecast, but some dry air in place. Talk about the forecast in a sec.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a digital content manager to join our newsroom leadership team. CMS experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job-of-the-day to apply. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
I'd just like to start your day off with a few of our viewer photos. Absolutely beautiful one from Michael Cox here from Holmes Beach. You can see the setting sun in the distance. Kind of a haze in the sky. Another sent in from Dennis, Rattlesnake Key. Nice, beautiful shot of our setting sun as well. You ever see the flash of green? I've never seen it yet. Some people say they have. As the sun just barely sets, you get that little flash of green as the light is kind of played with by the optics of the Earth's atmosphere. I haven't seen it. Anyway, here's another setting sun view, Siesta Key. Susan sent this one in. Thank you very much. Send them to pics@mysuncoast.com. We'll try to get them on the air for you. Another viewer photo from Venice. Darlene sent this one in. Thank you so much for those. 66 degrees, our current air temperature. We have a dew point value coming in at 55. Northwest wind at about 15. That wind will be kind of breezy today. Small craft advisories up, rip current advisories up, so watch for those. Temperatures across the region generally a little warmer near the coastline because of that onshore wind flow, kind of keeping temperatures up there. 66 Sarasota, Longboat Key, 67 in Venice, 61 in Bradenton, 67 in Venice and Inglewood. And then you go inland just a little bit, really. You don't have to go far. Like Lakewood Ranch is at 62, Parrish is at 61, 60 in Mayaca City. Becky in Old Mayaca reported a 52-degree temperature at her house, 60 in Arcadia and in Wauchula. So today we'll see our temperatures climb up to about 63 at 9 a.m. Some places you're a little bit cooler than that, some places a little bit warmer. Then 65 degrees by noon, and by the time we get to 3 p.m., we're just going to hit the 68-degree mark. We're not going to warm all that much today, thanks to that wind flow out of the north kind of bringing down some of that cooler air. And even though we have plenty of sunshine, the sunshine has to fight against the cold air coming in, and on balance, we're going to stay kind of flat in our temperatures. 65 degrees by 7 p.m. this evening. Hour-by-hour forecast showing temperatures staying, as I mentioned, pretty flat. Kind of a boring hour-by-hour today, actually. No rain in the forecast. Sunny skies throughout. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover from time to time caused by some cold air going over the relatively warmer Gulf waters, but none of it producing any rainfall. We stay dry, but we do get cool during the overnight, dropping into the 50s. Radar. Not much to show here. It's quiet, but of course that nor'easter is still churning, still kind of in the formation stages. A lot of it's going to depend on how close the center of circulation, which you can see the twist right there is the center of circulation. Once that gets out here, how close it is to the coast, how far it is out to sea. It won't take much of a difference to make huge differences in the snowfall totals, but latest computer models do kind of suggest that that low will be close enough to the coastline that maybe the snowfall amounts will be even a little greater than forecast just 24 hours ago. So we'll wait and see. High pressure builds in. North wind comes our way. That draws down the cooler air, gives us a sunny day, a rain-free week, but cooler for several days. We'll finally warm as we head into the weekend. Here's the snowfall futurecast from one of the latest computer models, and you can see we've got some pockets here of some snowfall around Boston, Long Island, upstate New York. Coming in at over a foot to 16 inches of snowfall there. So tremendous amounts if that forecast plays out. We're looking at wind out of the northwest at about 20 today. I don't see it subsiding until tomorrow, really. Daytime high 68, tomorrow 66. Nighttime low tomorrow night into Friday morning, 45 degrees. So kind of a chilly night there. A couple of chilly nights, actually. As we head into the weekend, we'll warm nicely into the mid to upper 70s. Full sunshine still. Warmer nighttime lows. Pretty good stuff. Then as we head into the first full week of spring, we'll be looking at slightly warmer temperatures up near the 80 mark, which is about where we should be. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Checking First Alert traffic now. 301 northbound, showing some early congestion there just north of State Road 70. Also looks busy there up there by Palmetto off 301 and 41. Checking farther south now into Sarasota County. Some buildup there around the airport as you head on University eastbound toward 301. Also 301 northbound toward University. Fruitville east of the interstate. Checking farther south now on our maps in South County. Just a small little blip there between Venice and South Venice in both directions on US 41. Some breaking news now from Austin, Texas. We've been tracking this story all morning long for you.
That is right. Police are now confirming that the man accused of sending and detonating explosives in the Austin area is dead this morning after detonating a final device in his vehicle, killing himself. You are now looking at live at the scene in Austin, where the police department there has identified the suspect as a 24-year-old man, but hasn't released his name just yet. Now, over the past 36 hours, police and FBI agents received information that led them to the suspect. They then tracked him to a hotel. A chase followed, and police say the suspect then detonated a device inside his car, killing himself and injuring an officer. Now, the Austin police chief also says he is confident the suspect that they got is the one behind the bombings that have killed 2 and injured 5 over the last few weeks. The chief also said they lost track of him at some point during the last 24 hours, and residents still need to be on guard there in case he left any other devices. Now, we are on the story all morning. We're going to bring you all the latest developments as they happen. And yet another school shooting yesterday that left 2 students in the hospital this morning. A 17-year-old student with a semi-automatic handgun shot 2 other students at a Maryland high school yesterday before an armed resource officer intervened. Now, the shooter was killed and the 2 victims are currently in the hospital. One is in critical and one is in stable condition.
Still ahead, weather, traffic, our top headlines. Marla Spence, all our top 7 at 7 next on Good Morning Suncoast.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings during the spring sales event and shop the area's largest selection of 7-passenger vehicles. Get KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $23,999. Or get off-road capability with the comfort of an SUV in your new Jeep Compass for just $17,999. Drive away in a new Dodge Journey for as little as $16,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
I actually started playing the game at 11 years old, so I started a little bit later than most players. But I was actually raised on Fighting Joe. The value here at Robert Trent Jones is unsurpassable. I mean, I have looked to other places. I've traveled all the way across the country. Everything is perfect as far as everything is the golf course, the rolling of the greens. Everything that I've encountered has just been absolutely incredible. And for the money that you spend, for the value that you actually get, it is unsurpassable. I'd recommend it for anybody.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
All right, ABC7 wants to make sure that you are ready for the day.
Here are the top 7 things you need to know. First off, First Alert Traffic and John Scalzi.
So we'll start with the weather happenings. Cooler air moving in. We'll have a string of sunny days, but despite those sunny days, we just don't warm all that much. And then by the time we get to the weekend, we will start to warm up. We're dry all week long. Those are your weather take-alongs.
All right, number 2, First Alert Traffic. Manatee County showing some early buildup there from Palmetto toward downtown Bradenton. Not too serious so far. Let's talk about snowbirds heading north. Here's Marla Spence.
Main Street, where some businesses could see a drop in sales as snowbirds head on back home until next season. We spoke to one business owner, and he says one of his restaurants sees a 50% drop in sales each year when snowbirds head on back home. As those snowbirds expect to head home, they could easily stay right here on the Suncoast as the nor'easter makes its way into the northern states.
Number 4, breaking news from Austin, Texas. A man suspected in the string of fatal package bombings reportedly took his own life after being cornered by Texas police this morning.
Number 5, happening right now. Another major storm is hitting the northeast with strong winds and a foot or more of snow expected in some parts of the area.
Number 6, most Suncoast voters want to spend more on public school education, it turns out. 2 referendums passed with very different numbers. Sarasota County, it passed 78 to 21%. Manatee County, barely 51 to 48%.
And number 7, what's trending? Indiana Jones is back at 75 years young. Harrison Ford is grabbing his whip and slightly worn fedora for his 5th time as Indy. Director Steven Spielberg confirmed that the latest installment of the Indiana Jones franchise is going to start filming next year in London, slated for a July 2020 release. I will not be here that day. Almost 40 years after the debut of the franchise of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow, Harrison Ford,
I'm
75
so
years old now,
75, cracking that whip.
All right.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us. Much more from Austin, Texas right now on Good Morning America.